This lesson is for those that want to understand how R&B neo-soul guitar works, how chord progressions work in a number of steps. I don't know how many steps yet, but you read that in the title. Step 1 is picking a key, understanding what's your one chord. For this example, will be in the key of E minor, so your one chord will be E minor 7. That's your one minor chord. Now we need to create a movement, we need to create some tension to then release with this one chord. In other words, I'm looking for the 5 chord of this E minor 7, and the 5 dominant 7, the tension for this chord will be a B7. But I don't want to play it this way. I want to add more tension because I'm going to a minor chord. I'm gonna add alterations. So I'm gonna make this B7 a B7 sharp 5. All that means is that I want this note, which by the way is the flat 3, the minor third of that E minor. I want it in the B7 as well. So I've got this B7 sharp 5 or B plus 7, that's the same thing. So now my 5-1 minor will be, and that's the step number 2. Now step number 3, let's make it a little bit longer by adding another chord which belongs to this key. Now if I go from B to the next note of the scale on the E natural minor scale, the following note would be C, and C is the minor 6th or the flat 6 in the key of E minor. On this degree, the chord that you find is a C major 7. So now I've got a 3-chord chord progression, which is going to look like C major 7, B7 altered B7 sharp 5, and E minor 7, which is our 1 minor. We are in the key of E minor. Now, if you are unsure about some of the things that I'm mentioning and you want to understand everything about this style, the best course on neo-soul guitar is linked in the description below. Step 4 is going to be adding an extension. So that means instead of playing a plain E minor 7, let's add a color, which is the 9th. So now, instead of an E minor 7, we play an E minor 9. Which is essentially an E minor 7 extended to the 9th, the note F sharp on the 2nd string. So now, this is step 4, the chord progression looks like C major 7, B7 altered, and E minor 9. Okay. Apologies for the interruption, guys. I just wanted to quickly jump in and say that this lesson was made possible by the good guys at Very Nice Guitars. They are a high-end guitar store from Poland. They have both new and second-hand guitars. They ship worldwide, so check out their website, and if you don't find anything that you like, they can find the right guitar for you, so just get in touch with them. They also buy and trade the guitars in. They literally have customers all around the world. They do have truly unique pieces. All guitars are set up and ready to play. They have a no questions asked return policy in the EU, and as they like to say, minimum questions are asked outside the EU. They're really great guys. You should check them out. I will leave a link in the description below and you will see what incredible rare guitars they actually have. Now step 5 is really important. Is where we connect R&B neo-soul to the jazz tradition, the jazz vocabulary, right? If we want now to do this chord progression again, okay? So essentially we want to go back to that C major 7 that we started from, although that's not the one chord, it's just the first chord in the chord progression. What do we typically do in jazz, but not only in jazz, when we want to go to a certain chord? We create a 2-5 to go to that chord. It's not going to be exactly a 2-5-1 because the C major 7 is not the one chord. We pretend it is, although it's a flat 6, and we create a 2-5 of the flat 6 major 7. We pretend for a minute we are in C just for the sake of coming back to that C major 7. So what would the 2-5 be for the C major 7? Well, it would be D minor 7, G7. That's a 2-5 of C major. Let's make all of these 3 chords more interesting. D minor 7, obviously we make it D minor 9. We already did that for the E minor 7. Why not for D minor 7? G7, we now make it G13, which is a G7th extended to the 13th. So they can share, the D minor 9 and the G13, they can share the same note, the same top note, I should say. And then for the C major 7, we're gonna make it a C major 9. So now, this is step number 5. If I counted this correctly, we have followed by in order to, go back to C major 7, just to start again, to start the same 3 chords again. The only difference is I'm not playing the C major 7 here, I'm playing it here and I'm playing it as a C major 9. But I like to add an embellishment, a hammer-on embellishment, because this is one of the things that happen all the time in this style. So with this pinky on the G string, I'm gonna do this typical hammer-on move. So now I've got, okay, nothing major, but it's one of those ingredients that really work. So step 6. And now I just need to play another B7 to come back to E minor, but because I'm here already, I want to play the B7 here, but I want to play it with a different alterations from the one that I've used here, that was the sharp 5. I want to use the flat 9 this time. Even more tension to then go back to E minor 7, E minor 9 actually. Okay, so step 7, I believe, is going to be as you can see, I'm playing some groove on the right hand, arpeggios, placking, percussions, all of the usual things that you guys find in this style. Now, step number 8, and this is going to be the final one. We are gonna add between E minor 9 and D minor 9, which are one whole step apart, 2 frets apart, a chromaticism with the same chord type on the note E flat, because between E and D, there's an E flat. So I'm gonna go, okay, and this is gonna add even more juice to what we're playing, and we can also pull back a little bit, lay back a little bit. So step number 8 goes like this. And this is how songs like Just the Two of Us or What You Won't Do for Love work. As I said, if you want to learn everything else about this style, if you enjoy this way of learning, the best course on neo soul guitar is linked in the description below.